Hi, Karen.
Hi, Tracy. How are you today?
Good. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Certainly. My name is Karen Zula, and I have lived in Bridgewater for almost 4 years. I am currently the president of the Parks Community Board and the secretary of the Master Board. For 31 years, I worked at the city of Riverview, and I was the city assessor and the purchasing agent. During my tenure, I attained the level 3 assessment certification from the state of Michigan. I also attained the certified purchasing manager designation from the National Purchasing Association. I was selected as the purchasing manager of the year for the state of Michigan by the Michigan Purchasing Association, which I was very happy about, very honored. Let's see. During my tenure, I also taught at Henry Ford Community College. I enjoyed that because I always wanted to be a teacher, and so but teaching older adults is a whole different story. But I enjoyed it, and I have a better understanding of the job of a teacher. So, but I enjoyed it the time I was there. Also, the last 3.5 years, the city council requested and appointed me the director of the Riverview Highlands Golf Course, which you're all familiar with. We had 27 holes of golf, a 3-hole practice facility, and I was in charge of all of it. It was quite the challenge, but I felt I was honored by them thinking that I could take that over. So I dove in, made a lot of personnel changes, and also secured a liquor license, which definitely helped with the revenues, which we really needed. Also, on another side, not my work side, but my husband and I owned and operated a full-blown supermarket that we purchased from Great Scott. And because I had a little free time during all this, on the weekends I would take care of paying all the vendors and balancing the finances. I didn't work in the produce department or the meat department or any of that. I definitely stayed in the office. So that's a pretty good understanding of who I am. But my biggest accomplishments, and I think I said this before, were my two children and my 3 grandchildren. Those are my biggest accomplishments, and they define me.
Fantastic. Can you tell me a little bit about your past experiences working as a committee member or working with a group to problem solve and create positive solutions?
I have a really good example of that. Of course, as a purchasing agent, I had to form a lot of committees when I would put out requests for proposals for construction, capital equipment, because my idea was not only did I want the department head to give me his input on the request for proposals, but I wanted other department heads in the city to give me their opinions, because I felt that we had a better solution because there was a better variety, and it was very interesting at times. But yes, committee work, did a lot of that. But the biggest one was in the late 1980s, the city of Riverview decided that they were going to purchase the Downey Elementary School because we had outgrown our city hall on 4th Street. So I was appointed co-project manager with the Department of Public Works director, and together we accomplished the remodel of the Downey Elementary School to house the police department, the district court with a whole new court building, and it was beautiful. And it took us 18 months to do it. And of course, during that time, back to the question, We did have to form a lot of committees for, again, the construction, furnishings, equipment. But finally, in 1989, in the fall, we coordinated the move from 4th Street to the new building. And it was quite the job. And because we did such a good job, the two of us, they appointed us co-project managers for the remodel of the library. So that was my experience with forming committees and getting solutions to a lot of problems.
Okay. What qualities do you believe a neighborhood representative should embody and bring to the board in order to create a more harmonious community relationship?
I gave this a lot of thought. I think a community board representative, first of all, has to have understanding, good listening skills, and the ability to make good decisions that affect the community as a whole. We are now, we all know, we've all heard about it, we're now on our own. So our decisions have to be fiscally responsible. Those decisions have to be made with without your personal wants for the community. It has to be for the complete community. That's very difficult, I'll have to tell you. So it's difficult to make those decisions sometimes, but that's the position we're all put in.
Okay. What do you consider the greatest challenge for your individual community at the present time? And how are you proposing to resolve it?
The parks community is the newest, probably the newest phase of Bridgewater. And we have a very diverse population. They go from people that are still working to people that, like myself, that have been retired for quite a while. So as a result, our particular community, and I can only speak to our community, has a variety of opinions and wants for our community. So as a result, it's very difficult in our community. However, I have met the most wonderful people, and there are a couple residents, and they'll even say to me, Karen, I can talk to you. I know we don't always agree, but I know that I can voice my opinions and you will understand and you will have a willingness to listen to me. And that, I think, is the biggest problem. But right now, what we're going through with this pandemic, and I hate to always come back to COVID, but we do need unification. And I think the only way we are going to be able to accomplish that is through communication and transparency. But I have faith that after this is over, we can go back to all of our activities that we used to have and all the wonderful parties and the wine club, my number one on the list. But anyway, go back to all those activities so that we can see our neighbors and do the social aspects of this community. That's how. But I think we are going to have an open line of communication.
Okay. Under what circumstances do you believe a special assessment to the community would be necessary?
This will be a short and sweet answer. I think the only time that we would need a special assessment is if we had an essential requirement to maintain the integrity of this community.
So can you expand on that a little bit?
That essential requirement has to be the result of what the complete community needs at that point. And we would have to really think about a special assessment that affects all of us. And we're all in a different income stream. And so some people might be able to say, oh yeah, let's do that. But a special assessment is only needed, in my estimation, if it's an essential requirement for the integrity of the community.
Okay. What are 3 physical improvements you would like to see completed at Bridgewater? And what will you do to see them accomplished?
Physical improvements to Bridgewater. That is, I had to think long and hard about this one also. I think the roads, but in all honesty, we are already securing bids to see about correcting the problems that we have with our roads, and we all know what those are. So although it's going to take a lot of money, that is the biggest problem with any big, huge expense at this point, is because, we may have money in our reserve, but we can't keep accessing the reserve account all the time for things. So it has to be a good fiscal decision. But the roads, I think, need to be done. I agree. When I walked down Charlevoix and I seen the mess that the filling of the cracks did, I thought, oh my. But that is something we're already dealing with. So that would be number 1 physical improvement as far as I'm concerned. The other one would be, this is a smaller one, but something that I think would enhance the community and maybe have be safer for us, would be enhanced lighting as you're entering the community on Grand Traverse from Van Horn. It's kind of dark. Also Paradise Lane and also Montague have lighting, but I don't think it's sufficient enough at night when you're trying to turn in. So I think that would enhance the community. And the biggest one, which I hear about all the time, is what are we going to do? We don't have enough room in the lodge to house all of our community activities. Yes, we're taking them offline, and off-site, and that helps. Or Thanksgiving dinner one time we tried to do it in 2 shifts, and that kind of didn't work. So we do go to, Brownstown's been very good. Woodhaven's been very good as far as using their facilities for us for certain events. But there are a lot of people here, and there we go back to, we have to decide for the complete community. There are a lot of people here that don't even want to drive that far. And so sometimes they feel left out. So maybe a dream of all of the residents here in Bridgewater would be make the lodge bigger, or somehow accomplish that so that we can have it within our own building. And how would we accomplish that? It always comes down to money. Always. That's the biggest problem when you go into big, huge construction. And yes, the lodge would have to be a special assessment. The other 2, maybe not so much if we could budget properly. But that one definitely would be a special assessment. It would take a lot of thought and a lot of research to do that.
Okay. Any final closing statements?
I think we all live in a beautiful community, and I'm hoping that I am reelected to the Parks Community Board. It's rewarding the majority of the time. It's a lot of work, and but I really would like to be reelected to the Parks Community Board again for another 2-year term. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.